My name is Rigo, and for the last year, I've been a ghost trapped underground in a prison no one knows exists. A year ago, I was just a small-time drug dealer, moving product through the back streets of Boston, when a black van screeched up beside me. Before I could run, a bag was over my head, and I was gone. When I woke up, I wasn't in a cell block or a courthouse. I was here, deep beneath the earth, in a place that smells of rust, blood, and despair. They call it the Pit, though no one's ever told me its real name. It doesn't need one. It's a secret, a playground for the rich, a slaughterhouse for the damned. The first thing they did when I got here was strap me to a table and inject me with their biotech, a slimy, silver liquid they call RegenX. It's some kind of biomaterial, a miracle, and a curse rolled into one. They say it's supposed to heal anything. Broken bones, gunshot wounds, even a slashed throat. And it does. Within hours, no matter how bad the damage, your body knits itself back together. But there's a catch. It hurts like hell every time it works. A searing agony that rips through your nerves as the RegenX rebuilds you. Worse, they don't tell you it's a slow poison. After a few years, it starts breaking you down, crippling your joints, rotting your insides until you're a husk begging for death. A lot of the inmates here have already lost it, screaming at shadows or clawing at their own skin, driven mad by the pain and the endless cycle of healing. I've seen it happen. Guys who've been here longer than me, their eyes hollow, their hands trembling even when they're not being hunted. The guards don't care. They just drag the crazies off when they're too far gone to be fun for the clients. Clients, that's what they call the rich bastards who pay to come down here. They show up in their fancy suits, grinning like kids at a carnival, and head to the arena, a massive underground cavern rigged with traps, tunnels, and those damn deep pits they love shoving us into. That's where they hunt us, where they shoot us, stab us, break us, all for their sick thrill. And thanks to the RegenX, we don't stay dead. We just wake up screaming, patched up and ready for the next round. I've been through it too many times to count. The arena's a nightmare, jagged walls, rusted metal spikes, and those pits, some so deep you can't see the bottom. Last week, I fell into one. I was running from a client, a fat guy with a gold-handled pistol, when the ground gave way. I hit the bottom hard, my leg snapping like a twig, the pain blinding me. I thought that was it, that maybe I'd finally get lucky and bleed out before the RegenX kicked in. No such luck. Hours later, I woke up as two guards hauled me back to my cell on a stretcher. Half conscious, I caught a glimpse of something. A hallway we passed on the way back, lined with steel doors and a sign that read, "Lab Storage." That's where they keep the RegenX, the stuff they inject us with every 6 months to keep it working. It hit me then. If I could get in there, maybe I could use it somehow. Maybe I could get out. The idea stuck with me, festering in my head as I lay in my cell, the concrete cold against my back. The guards don't watch us closely after a hunt. They figure we're too broken to try anything. That's my chance. I'd have to fall into one of those pits again, let them drag me back past the lab, and then make my move. But it wasn't just about escaping for me anymore. I've seen too many others suffer down here. Maria, who cries herself to sleep every night. Jax, who keeps whispering about his kids he'll never see again. Even the crazies who don't know their own names anymore. If I was getting out, I'd take them with me, even if it killed me. The plan came together over the next few days. I'd fall into a pit during the next hunt, wait for the guards to carry me back, and slip into the lab when they weren't looking. I'd grab as much RegenX as I could and give myself an overdose, enough to heal me in seconds instead of hours. It'd be risky, Too much of that stuff could fry my system, maybe even kill me faster than the slow rot they promised. But if it worked, I'd be unstoppable long enough to take down a client, use them as leverage, and free everyone. I'd have to hide the overdose effects until the next hunt, play it off like I was still weak. Then I'd strike. The day came sooner than I expected. They herded us into the arena, me, Maria, Jax, and a dozen others. The clients were already there, a group of 5 this time, decked out in tactical gear like they were playing soldier. One of them, a tall guy with slicked back hair and a smug grin, caught my eye. He'd be my target tomorrow if this worked. For now, I had to focus on the fall. I waited until the chaos started. Gunshots echoing, screams filling the air. Then bolted for a pit I'd scoped out earlier. A client chased me, his boots pounding the ground, but I didn't look back. I leapt, and the world dropped out from under me. The landing was worse than last time. My shoulders smashed into a rock, dislocating it, and my ribs cracked as I tumbled deeper. The pain was unbearable, but I gritted my teeth and waited. Hours later, the guards found me, cursing as they loaded me onto the stretcher. I kept my eyes half closed, my breathing shallow, playing the part of a broken man. They carried me through the tunnels, past the lab hallway just like before. My heart pounded as we neared it. One guard up front, one behind, and neither paying much attention. In an unattentive moment, I was able to snatch the keycard from the belt of one of the guys.
Suddenly, the guards stopped and entered a smoking cabin, and I saw my shot. I rolled off the stretcher and scrambled into the lab.
Inside, it was a sterile mess. Vials of RegenX stacked on shelves, syringes scattered across a table. I grabbed a syringe, filled it with as much of the silver liquid as it'd hold, and jammed it into my arm. The overdose hit like a freight train. My veins burned, my vision blurred, and every muscle in my body seized up. It felt like I was being torn apart and stitched back together all at once. 1,000 needles stabbing me from the inside. But then, seconds later, the pain faded. My shoulder popped back into place, my ribs snapped straight, and I felt strong, stronger than I'd ever been. I stumbled back to the stretcher just as the guards left the cabin. They dragged me to my cell. They didn't notice anything different. I kept my head low, my hands shaking on purpose, hiding the rush coursing through me. The next day, they brought us back to the arena. The tall client was there again, his bodyguard, a hulking guy with a scar across his face, standing close. I waited until they split us up, then made my move. The overdose was still working. I could feel it, a buzzing under my skin. I rushed the bodyguard first, slamming into him with all my weight. He went down hard, his head cracking against the stone. The client froze, fumbling for his gun but fired a shot at my chest. It healed in a matter of seconds. I grabbed him, twisting his arm behind his back and pressing a jagged rock to his throat. "Tell them to open the cells," I shouted at the guards watching from the catwalks. "Do it, or he's dead." "Do it," the client whimpered, and alarms blared as the cell doors unlocked. Prisoners, Maria, Jax, and the rest poured into the tunnels. I dragged the client toward the command center, a fortified room above the arena, shoving past guards who lunged at me. My legs shook, the overdose fading, my chest tightening. I knew time was running out. In the command center, I forced the client to the console. "Override the lockdown," I snarled, pressing the rock harder. He obeyed, hands trembling, and the main gates groaned open. The prisoners surged upward, their shouts filling the pit. I saw Maria and Jax vanish into the light above, free. Then it hit me. The RegenX turned sour. My vision blurred, my body convulsed, and I collapsed, the overdose eating me alive. I'd pushed it too far, but I smiled through the pain. They'd made it out. They'd tell the world about the hunts, the biotech, the torture. My last breath rattled out as the pit faded away. The escapees reached the surface, battered and half mad, but alive. They flagged down a patrol car, their stories spilling out in frantic bursts. Tales of underground hunts, of RegenX that healed but destroyed, of pain so constant it broke minds. The police raided the vault days later, finding the arena, the pits, and the lab all abandoned by the guards and clients who'd fled. The prisoners' accounts sparked outrage, investigations, and eventually trials. The biotech was traced to a shadow corp tied to XAI's early experiments, though they denied involvement. For those who survived, the scars, physical and mental, never faded. But Rigo's sacrifice gave them freedom, a chance to heal from the unhealable.
If you liked this story, drop a like and subscribe for more sci-fi stories in the future. If you want more now, check out the recommended videos.